co-founder and board member of the Colorado End of Life Collaborative. And shout out to our other board members, Marissa, Vanessa, and Christina. We're really excited to have this webinar. Granddaughter Crow, aka GDC, is a medicine woman, shamanic practitioner, and member of the Navajo Nation. She also holds a doctorate in leadership and organizational development and is an award-winning author of several books, including her latest, Belief, Being, and Beyond. And she also hosts a podcast of the same name. In her work, GDC blends scientific research and native wisdom to connect us with ourselves and with each other in our clearest authenticity so that we may experience fulfilling relationship, engage in rewarding business ventures, and maintain a sense of well-being. So without further ado, Granddaughter Crow, Dr. Joy Gray, GDC, will be joining us. And thank you so much for being here this morning, everyone.
Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. So Ya'at hello in Navajo. They call me Granddaughter Crow, and I am here to inspire, to encourage, and to empower you to be your authenticity. And I was so excited when the board asked me to come on and, looking at what you guys do, it touches me to the core. The demystifying death and being there for people. And, I really see that what you guys do isn't a decision you just like made from here. It's a calling. I don't think that you would get into the industry that you're in unless it's a calling. And in this industry that you work in, you have to have empathy. You have to have sympathy. Those are core things in order to provide the advocacy, in order to provide the education, in order to provide the companionship and the heart, right? The heart-driven work that you do. And so today we are going to be talking about empath or highly sensitive. And whether or not you've heard these terms before doesn't really matter because I'm going to give it all to you in the next 90 minutes in a nutshell. I am not suggesting that you need to identify as a highly sensitive person. You do not need to identify as an empath, but I'm here to provide you with tools. By the time we're done, you probably will be like, that sounds like me, but it's always up to you to be able to look at that. Again, it's going to be a 90-minute presentation. Then we'll turn off the recording. If you do have questions, put them in the chat. And for those who are watching this recording, blessings to you, blessings to you, blessings to you. So welcome into this space, into this class, community. I love it. And I also just want to say that I'm going to set my ego to the outside so that I can be a clear conduit for you and for the divine as it reveals itself to you to provide you with whatever empowerment tools that you can take away and utilize in your life, whether it's your work or whether it's your home, wherever you are, to be able to encourage you to be your authenticity. This one is from a place of a highly sensitive person. So let's get rolling. So awesome tools for the sensitive healer. So this is for the Colorado End of Life Collaborative, and I am Granddaughter Crow. So let's get into the material. So the overall takeaways, in order to kind of say, what is she going to be talking about today? So today I'm going to be talking about what is a sensitive and or empath. We'll give clear definition as well as scientific knowledge as to what this actually means. Wait, what? Did I just say scientific knowledge? Yeah, this is scientific. This isn't just, ooh, this is so woo-woo, and I've got all my feelings and I need somebody to understand. There is legit science that I'm going to be showing to you, biological, so that you understand that if you do identify as a highly sensitive or an empath, you actually are set up differently from birth, from birth. So let's continue on. I'm going to talk a little bit about how I see us as an instrument and what that means. I think one of the biggest takeaways when one considers themselves to be an instrument is this idea that, wait, that means I get to decide if I play my music. Not everybody needs to be able to have access to me as an instrument. I get to choose. It's an empowerment and how that looks. And a flow chart for self-care. And this will be a very, very beautiful thing. I actually created one of those. You are here, answer this question. If you answer yes, go this way. If you answer no, go this way, to kind of actually guide us through this understanding of being a sensitive and an empath. And this is a really good flow chart. You can jot it down. I believe that I'm going to send it over to the board. So if you want to catch it, you can always contact them. Maybe they can get it to you. If you're here in the live, they'll send it to you after this presentation. And then tools, tools, and more tools. So these tools that I have that I'm going to provide to you, there's a lot of them. And you may actually go, is that why I do that? Is that because a lot of these things are going to be very natural? I'm not here to like go, oh, and now you got to go buy this crystal, and now you got to go do this. I'm here to tell you, oh no, breathe, put your fingertips together, relax your system, take care of your nervous system. Here's some visualizations so that you can re-energize after you have poured out, because a lot of what you guys are doing is pouring out. And not only are you pouring out, you, in order to know what to pour out for, not just an individual, you guys, you're not working with one person, you are working with their family, their friends, their belief system, their community. And in order to be able to customize showing up for them, you've got a lot to take in. You have to digest quickly, you need to remember, and that is actually a skill set that highly sensitive people have and empaths have. And you might not even realize that you're doing it, right? You're just going to be doing it. But I'm going to give you tools so that you can press the reset button throughout your day, so that you can press the reset button at the end of your day, so that you can press the reset button whenever you need to, so that you can also show up for, oh, I don't know, yourself? What? Not a crow. Are you kidding me? Yes, I'm giving you permission to show up for you because you are the instrument that shows up for them. Once again, it is a calling. I'm very honored to be here talking with people that actually will go, oh, if I gain something from this presentation, even just a little idea, and it helps you to do what you do, enough said, right? I mean, I got speechless there. And I, trust me, my name is Granddaughter Crow, which means that I have a crow and raven totem. And it is hard to make crows and ravens stop talking, right? But you guys are wonderful. So these are the overall takeaways. So let's go ahead and jump into it. You are a natural healer. Yes, you probably took maybe classes or you're certified this and certified that in order to understand and navigate the lay of the land in this space and time in 2024 in the community that we're in. But at the end of the day, you actually came into this world, and I'm just going to say it. You can go, no, I didn't, Granddaughter Crow. That's fine. I believe that you came into this world as a natural healer, that a lot of your skill set was taught to you on how to do it, but you've always been doing it. You've always been kind of like, oh, wow, I really felt that. Oh, wow. Why don't people understand this? All of these things. There's a natural curiosity, and whatever courses you take actually just give you your mind a little bit more latitude on how to navigate, to include this course, right? Okay, so let's go. This is funny because I'm like, "Dur, dur, dur, dur." This is like a big sound. And so basically, we're going to look at the background of being an empath versus empathy versus sympathy. You were called, the history of the word empath as a noun, and how we experience the world around us. So, how we experience the world around us. It's loud. It can be really loud. I like to tell my husband, basically, I feel like the world is amplified to me, be it touch, taste, sound, sight, emotions, everything seems to be a little bit more amplified. And I didn't even realize that until I was 35. So basically 2 decades ago. And I was like, why isn't everybody just like going, everybody be quiet, let's kumbaya, How come people are so loud? How come they're just blah? And it's just like, oh, maybe I'm different. And that's when I started learning more about what a highly sensitive person is, coined phrase by Dr. Elaine Aron, and what an empath is. So empathy versus sympathy. In short, I believe you guys probably know this, but sympathy is, let's just say somebody's dog passed away. Sympathy would go, oh, you poor thing, your dog passed away. Let me write you a card. Be well soon. Here you go. Love ya. And they go on about their day. Empathy is like when somebody goes, my dog passed away. And you go, our dog passed away? What was his name? I didn't even get a chance to meet him. And then you leave that situation. You're like, oh, those poor people. Should I? Oh, gosh. And you're actually feeling, not thinking the pain, you're feeling it in your body. You can't let it go for some reason. And of course, in the line of work that you guys do, it's not the dog that passed away, right? And you're picking up all of these different energies, and I'll break it down. So sympathy would be nice to have, but empathy actually means that you are feeling it as though it is yours, which makes us very, very great healers, but it also can drive us crazy. You were called to the work that you do. I just want to take a moment and remind you that, because if you've been doing this work for a while, whatever that means in your line of work, sometimes we forget. We forget what was the core. Why did I decide to do this? And remember your story. Remember that motivation. Why? And then think about, when you think about the difficulties, you have no idea how much easier you have made it for those whom you touch. And usually they will not tell you because they believe that you already know, right? So realize that you are making a huge difference. Okay, historically, the word empath as a noun. I want to talk about this for a second because it really brings to light that this is a newer term to be called an empath versus having empathy. And so, in my etymology, it really kind of, the word empathy, of course, goes way back Greek to, we understand it, it's been around for a long time. But actually, to be referred to as an empath didn't hit us until like 1956 through sci-fi, right? Sci-fi decided, oh, you guys are empaths. There's a generation, even in Star Trek, did one, I think it was in 1968, called Empath. And they visited this planet with these people who took on all of the pain of everybody else. And so that's when this, and then all of a sudden, more metaphysical people, spiritual communities, healing communities, whatever that looks like in your life, started grabbing this word empath. And so, really, it's quite a new term. And the reason why I wanted to explain that is because I don't want you to be put into a box. We are still discovering what this means. We're still discovering what it looks like, and it doesn't look the same with each of us. So allow yourself to understand yourself through this word, even if you don't find it in a book. You're just like, but this is how I understand it. Good. It still needs to be defined. And then write the book so that others will feel empowered, right? Because we all get to be authentic. So, how we experience the world around us, like I said, it's to me, it's amplified. It's amplified. So, I wanted to take a step back really quickly to kind of talk about intellect, because being an empath and being a sensitive is a form of intellect, and there are 9 different types of intellect that were brought to us. I think it was Howard Gardner. Please forgive me if I got that wrong. I'll drop it. And Daniel Goldman and all of those guys from the beautiful Harvard Institute basically come back and say, I'll just go through the list. And you can identify as I go through these, which one are you? Which one do you identify with? Maybe you identify with them all, but I'm going to introduce these to you. The naturalist intellect means that you're nature smart. People who have a green thumb, they have gardens, they just understand, they talk to their plants, they're herbologists. Some people have musical instruments or musical intelligence, they're musically smart. Some of us lean more to the logical, mathematical. They're number and reasoning smart. And then some of us have an interpersonal intelligence. So we're people smart. I think that each one of you probably have that, definitely people smart. There is the body kinesthetic intelligence, which is body smart. So here we're looking at the geniuses who have the body kinesthetic intellect, probably are like in the Olympics or, all of that type of thing. But it's also this understanding of how to move in this world through your body. Linguistic intellect, they're word smart. These are the ones that did really well in English and love word puzzles, and it just makes sense to them. The intrapersonal intelligence is self smart. And this one, I really want to provide a lot of information to you to increase your intrapersonal intelligence, your self knowledge about yourself and how you work. Spatially intelligent, these are the picture smart people, people who say, I could rearrange my bedroom with and know where everything fits in my head. And you just kind of know that spatial. And then there's also the existential intelligence, which I think that I bet you guys have, because it's all about what is the meaning of life, death, rebirth, etc. Personally, where I stand on that is, I wrote a book. It's one of my best-selling books. It's called Wisdom of the Natural World. And it is plants and animals bringing their wisdom to help people in work and finance, in relationships and romance, and in health and well being. So, the premise of it is that the natural world gives us all the information that we need in order to live in whatever type of dynamic. And within the natural world, life, death, and rebirth happen every day. You wake up, you're born. At night, you die, you fall asleep. So there's this process. And so I perceive life, death, etc. as all sacred. And that is my belief system. And I just am just honored. So anyway, back to the presentation. What is the meaning of life? Is where you have that existential intelligence. And I say this once again just to open up your mind to understand that there are different types of intellect. Self-knowledge is key to self-empowerment. Now we're going to look at the terms highly sensitive person, aka HSP. This was coined by Dr. Elaine Aron. She is a scientist. She is in that scientific community. And then we're going to kind of look at it from more of a spiritualized position and look at the word empath. For me, these are simultaneous. I see these as interchangeable, but I also want to kind of express this to you so that you have self-knowledge. Dr. Elaine Aron coined the phrase HSP, highly sensitive person. Oh, and you can find, if you want to take an actual test to see, she has one on her website, and I believe her website is hsperson.com. And there's a list of maybe approximately 25 yes or no questions. And you get your scoring. So if you have that scientific mind and you're just like, but I need a number, you can go over there, but don't allow that to limit you. You get to experience the world the way that you experience the world. So in her profession, she is legit science, right? And she's in psychology, right? Which is considered a soft science, a qualitative science versus a hard science with numbers and quantifiable information. So in her soft science, the scientific community is already going to challenge quality. How do you rate quality? So she has to draw very hard, fast lines. This is my perception. And say, I am not talking woo-woo spiritual empath. I'm talking an HSP. We're built differently. This is where it's at. So just wanted to let you know. Then, of course, we've got the other side, which I love. You guys can land wherever you want, but let me just provide you with both. So, highly sensitive person, she will call it a highly sensitive person under the scientific community. She has done many studies, and some of those I'm going to reflect on today. So, 15 to 20% of the population is considered a highly sensitive person. Only 15 to 20%. 50% of that 15 to 20% are biologically female, and 15 to 20% or 50% of the 15 to 20% are biological male. I'm not talking about sexual orientation. I'm just talking about that a lot of times in our society, we have this messaging that, oh, the biological female is more sensitive than the biological male. Not necessarily so, yo. Take that off the table. Do you know how hard it would be to be a biological male and have to hide being a highly sensitive person in order to be accepted in high school? So there's a lot there. There's a lot there. And I wanted to say that to give that permissioning to everybody and to help kind of break those stereotypes. Now, on the flip side, we've got Dr. Michael Smith. He too is a psychologist, but he's more of a spiritualist. And he talks, I mean, he is all about this. You can look him up, Dr. Michael Smith. He runs the Empath Academy. I took his Empath Academy. It was great. It opened my eyes to being an empath and studying it. He's more spiritual. He suggests that being a highly sensitive or being an empath is a spectrum. there is a spectrum. Okay, so that means maybe I somewhat identify with what Granddaughter Crow is saying or what I've read or whatever, but I'm not like gonna run and hide and cry because a loud noise happened. Or maybe I am the person who runs and hides and cries after I got everybody through that loud noise because I absorbed it. I was sensitive to the community. And then all of a sudden I go home and I'm like, and and that type of a thing. So you may land on different parts of the spectrum. Once again, giving you permission to not be in the box or out of the box. Some part of this is going to make sense to you. So let's take a look. Oh, this one's going to be great, guys and gals. He suggests that 80% of what an empath experiences does not originate from themselves, which leaves only 20% of what an empath is experiencing actually organic to self. I'm going to repeat that. 80% of what an empath experiences, the anxiety, the sadness, the depression, the happiness, whatever it is, 80% of that is actually from an external environment that an empath would be perceiving, and only 20% originates from self. And when I first heard this, I was like, I just thought I was crazy because I would drive to the store and I would have my little radio on and I'd be, Dada Blue, Dada D, Dada Blue, that blue song. And I'd be all happy, just jamming. I'd walk into the store and all of a sudden I'm like, oh God, I'm afraid of this life. I'm afraid of the world. No, I'm not. Am I pregnant? No, of course I'm not pregnant. Wait, I'm just really concerned because I was walking through energetic fields. The way that I perceive it, and you can adopt this or not, there is this word psyche. And in the English speaking language, we individualize this term, meaning I have a psyche, you have a psyche. Let's go to see a psychologist to talk about my individual psyche. Let's go to a psychic, blah, 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 blah. In the Navajo, the word psyche is not individualized. The word psyche is that which we are moving through collectively, almost like you're a fish and you're moving through water and a wave comes. You're picking up on the psyche. Maybe we'll call it the collective. But so when I picture myself driving down the street, walking through a shop, going blah blah blah, wherever you go, what if you were just kind of moving through the waves of the energy that surrounds you? If that visualization makes sense to you, adopt it. If it doesn't, shun, unshun. I don't know if you guys watch The Office, but anyway, shun, unshun. We'll leave it at that. So let's go ahead and keep going because I got a lot of information. So these are the two differences. So let's go ahead and take a look at scientifically what did Dr. Elaine Aron find? We have more blood flow. She actually did a study, a scientific study, legit, credible scientific study on highly sensitive people, hooked up the fMRI and non-highly sensitive people and hooked up the fMRI, showed them a bunch of pictures. And she found out that we actually have more blood flow to different parts of our brain. So we're literally kind of more blood flow, which means more energy to the insula, which is the seat of consciousness. The insula is kind of where we process. It's like our deep processing unit. We have more blood flow there. So the next time you go, why can't I let that go? Why do I keep thinking about it? Probably because you've got more blood flow going to your insula. Give yourself a break, you know? It's part of what we do. Also, there's more blood flow to the mirror neurons. Mirror neurons are those neurons, those thinking cells that reflect the world around us. Primates have these, and as children, we have a lot of blood flow to these because we need to learn how to smile. We need to learn how to frown. We need to learn how to respond. So our mirror neurons are kicking. Well, as an adult, you don't really need that as much unless you're a highly sensitive empath. Then all of a sudden, that's why it feels like their emotions are your emotions. And it's really difficult to understand where that line is. Was that me? Was that them? And that's a great question. All right. So, and remember, this is being recorded. So, as you are rigorously taking notes, once you find it on the YouTube channel for your group, then you can pause, rewind. What did Granddaughter Crow just say? What? Okay. So, word choice and sound, language. We have more blood flow to the part of our brain that understands word choice and sound. Are you the empath that goes, wow, why did they choose that word? That was harsh. Why are they percussive in their growling? Why not just smooth it out? If you do that, this is why, because you have more blood flow to that part of your brain. All right. So let's keep going. What else is right with us, Granddaughter Crow? We have more blood flow to the insula, which also stores emotions and memory. Okay, so in that deep processing unit, we're not only processing what did that individual say to me today? We are processing, didn't they say that last Tuesday? And weren't they wearing that same hoodie? And wasn't this around there? And wait, they didn't say it like that when that person was in the room. They only said it like that when that person was. That's what we are doing. So we're not just going, oh, I understand today, which non highly sensitive people would be like, what's the big deal? So they said that. We're going, yeah, but the pattern is off. And that's why we continue to think like that, because we're actually formulating a bigger pattern in order to be empathetic and know how to show up. We pick up on body language. We don't have to take those classes about body language. We pick up on body language. We're just like, oh, I just have this feeling. You don't have to even say it in your head, like, oh, they have their arms folded. They must be mad or whatever. That's kind of a myth, but, because people fold their arms for different reasons. But we're just like, oh, this person feels standoffish. Yeah, you could take a body language class and go, oh, is that what I was picking up on? But really, we pick up on body language. We listen deeply. We listen deeply. The idea that a lot of people just listen with their ears and what they're doing in their head is going, huh, what should I say about that? Huh, what should I say about that? We don't just listen here, we listen here. We listen with our body. We're like, it's one of those things I have to watch. I have to be careful what I watch on TV because if somebody falls or trips, I literally get like these energetic, so I'm very, very high. I qualify myself as very high on the empathic scale, but it's like, those slapstick humor, I do not find funny. I'm like, that hurts me. That hurts my body because I'm listening with everything. I'm listening with everything. All right, so let's go ahead and keep moving. Man, we should have done a whole day-long course the way that I'm going. Anyway, I'll give it to you. So we lack the filtration system of what other people call quote unquote irrelevant information. We do not go, oh, that was irrelevant. A non-highly sensitive person will say, that's irrelevant. That's irrelevant. Background noise is irrelevant. That's irrelevant. No, we're just like, we are picking up all of it. And this is the scientific information for you. So, with that, I really want to kind of know, feel free to put it in the chat. Is this making sense to you? I'm not going to read the chat until later, but is this making sense to you? Like, what part about this is putting a light bulb? And this part of the discussion really is to show you that there is scientific reasoning for the way that you're set up. And at this point, I'm actually going to tell you that Dr. Elaine Aron got in contact with some of her other scientific friends from biology, and they tested over 100 different species. This is in a credible study that I've read, and you can look up online, that they looked at over 100 different species, I think to include fruit flies as well as um, primates, any kind, and they found that there is 15 to 20% of each of these species would behave with these traits that she identifies and that I'm about ready to go through. And so they question why is it's not just a human thing. And they came to the conclusion that the reason why 15 to 20% of a species is going to behave like this is for the survival of the species. That's a lot of weight, but yeah, you're here to save the world. No, I'm just kidding. It's basically this idea that let's just say that there's 100 orangutans and they're at the same time, fed at the same time. And then all of a sudden they introduce something new into the environment, something that the orangutans have never seen. 15 to 20% of them will not go and eat. They will go, what the heck is that? And the others are just like irrelevant information, food time. And the 15 to 20% are like, whoa, okay, there's something different here. So we kind of notice these things for a reason. And it's not because we are TOO much, too sensitive, too much thinking, all of those things that maybe you've heard. Oh, well, I feel like I'm too much. I feel like I'm too sensitive. Da, 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 da. No, you're not. You're picking up on things that other people don't. And because the majority doesn't, we automatically go, well, I guess I just have to toughen up. And it's like, maybe not. Maybe you're picking up on something that other people don't, but your client needs, right? That's why you get to do what you do. Okay, four main traits of an HSP: depth of processing, overstimulated easily, emotionally reactive or empathetic, sensitive to subtleties. Basically, it is the DOES, does. That's how you can see it. And I'm going to go through each of these quickly to give you a little bit more. But so if you're writing this down, depth of processing, let's hit it. Depth of processing, we process people more, we process places more, we process things more because our insula has more blood flow. We process deeply. Give yourself permission to process deeply. Next one, overstimulated. We can be overstimulated, and I want you to give yourself permission to be aware. Understand that you are aware and you notice subtleties within the environment that other people are not noticing. You lack the filtration system. You, if you identify, sorry, I'm not trying to, but an empath, I'll just say an empath, highly sensitive, lacks a filtration system that others have around being, oh, that's irrelevant, that's irrelevant. So, and we've got those mirror neurons going. So, of course, we're going to get overstimulated. We're more sensitive. So, we're going to pick up on all of that. So, we get overstimulated. Empathy, again, our mirror neuron. We have that sensitivity and that empathy. We are reflecting back to the world what they are reflecting to us. So sometimes we feel like mirrors, and sometimes we feel like we get lost. Sometimes we don't understand why we were so gentle with one and so harsh with another. And we're like, that wasn't me. Yeah, you're reflecting back what they need. You're reflecting, what do they call that? You're basically mirroring them because of your mirror neuron. You're not doing it on purpose, it's just happening. And we reflect the empathy, we have deep emotions, we listen with our body, we listen with our being, we're very cognitive. And in the hardest part that I have found is when I walk away from a situation, I'm like, was that me or was that them? I don't know. And we're going to get into that as well. And then the last one, S, is sensitivity to subtleties. Again, with our mirror neuron, we understand these. We pay attention to the word choice, the language, the body language. What else do you catch? Like personally, I tend to find patterns. I see patterns in everything. I love puzzles. Maybe that's the crow in me. I don't know. I'm Navajo, but my crow totem. Maybe you catch sounds. Maybe you catch language. Maybe you catch like, oh gosh, that person's energy, like you see it. Their energy looks like this. Oh wait, it went down. Oh wait, it went up. There's a pattern here. So we have those. So the DOES is the depth of processing, overstimulated. The E is empathy, and the S is that subtlety. So that is according to Dr. Elaine Aron, and all empaths have those, or highly sensitive people have those four traits. But there are different types. Some are people empaths, some are nature empaths, some are animal empaths, some are society empaths, some are death empaths. Right? So basically, what I'm suggesting is that there are a bunch of different types of intellect, that being who you are is makes sense scientifically, but do not limit yourself to like self-discover all the way. Hey, GDC, let's keep rolling. All right. Yay, now you're an instrument. My instrument needs water. You are an instrument. So, my story, a little bit about my story, my lived experience. School was too loud when I went into public school. Everything was too loud. And when I say everything, I'm not just talking about the other children, I'm talking about the banging of the. You guys are already like this. School is too loud, life is too loud, everything's too loud. And in that, it was really difficult for me, especially when I didn't. Oh, I like to say this. I was an empath before I understood what an empath was. I was always an empath. I was born this way. I just figured it out later in life. Again, with those waves of energy, Granddaughter Crow, rewind to that place that I talked about, psyche. And that's what I'm talking about. I feel these waves of energy. Sometimes I feel like a sponge, feel like I'm full. Everything, I'm collecting it. Sometimes I feel like a mirror. And in such, I feel lost to self because I feel like I'm just being there for others. Sometimes I just feel like I'm an alien. Like, how come nobody else understands this? Do I come from another planet? Maybe I do. I don't know. Then it's like always being there for others. It's almost like that is what I'm supposed to do. And in such, yes, but we're going to talk about healthy boundaries in a minute. Overly apologetic. This is something that I've found, that I've discovered with empaths, is that empaths go, and highly sensitive people go, oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. And it's kind of like, then people go, why are you apologizing so much? And then I go, oh, I'm sorry for saying sorry. And it's just so I'm not saying that's good or bad. I'm just saying I noticed that that's happening. So watch what you're apologizing, because my husband will always say to me, Why are you apologizing? You didn't do anything. I know but I'm sorry that that happened. It's just like, just note it. I have no like prescription. I'm not saying that's good or bad. I'm just saying that if you're around somebody that they're like, oh, I'm sorry, you're like, are you a highly sensitive person? Over apologetic. At least that's the way that I am. Okay, let's get into this. The Vitruvian Man. This is a perspective that I will offer to you. You do not have to take it, but you can look at it whatever you want. Four bodies of existence. I really learned this through my Navajo side. However, other, different places will also agree with this. It is that we have four bodies of existence. And the Vitruvian Man has a very, very good pictorial understanding around what this looks like. We have a physical body, which is right here, emphasized by that physical man just standing like that. We have an emotional body, which is represented by the movement. I don't think that Leonardo da Vinci necessarily drew this for this purpose, but it's a great picture to describe it. We have a mental body, which is actually outside of our body, and it is in this square. And then we have this circle, which is our spiritual body. The reason why this is a different spin is it's different in that I am a spirit, I have emotions and a mind, and I live in a body. I agree with that. I do agree with that. This one adds to that. And this says, oh, you don't just have emotions, you have an emotional body, which means that it needs food and it needs rest and it needs exercise. You don't just have a mind, you have a mental body, which means that your mental body needs food, exercise, rest. You have a spiritual body that needs food, exercise, and rest. And so, if you kind of think about how you're taking care of your physical body, think about what your other bodies are doing. And the reason why I say this is because this is how I understand life to be. And so sometimes when I'm checking in with myself, I won't just check in with my physical body. I'll check in with my emotional body and my mental body and my spiritual body. Food for thought, chop it up, take it, eat it, spit it out, whatever you want to do with it. If that adds to a deeper self knowledge, great, go with it. Next is the four bodies of existence in the instrument. So, this is where you are an instrument. Here is a Stradivarius. Maybe not, maybe it's just a violin, but I'm just going to say it's a Stradivarius because a Stradivarius is one of the most expensive instruments in the world. They go for millions of dollars for one. They're priceless, like you. Let's just say that the physical body is this physical aspect. Let's say that the strings are the emotional body. Let's say that the bow is your mental body. And let's say that these tuning pegs are the spiritual body. If not aligned and if not taken care of, they won't play any music. But if you can align your physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual and keep tabs on them, you will play sweet music. I hope that makes sense. I hope that makes sense. You can Q&A me afterward. So in the four bodies, if one of your bodies, I'll just give you a clue, if one of them is out of whack or needs attention, food, exercise, or rest, physically, you will feel it in your nervous system. All is energy. These energies flow together. So mental energy is reflected in the physical body, emotional energy is reflected in the physical body, spiritual energy is reflected in the physical body. And where this hits us is our nervous system. So take care of your nervous system. First and foremost, pay attention to your nervous system. The four bodies, emotional body. If your emotional body needs food, rest, or exercise, it's because you're experiencing what you might refer to as low dense emotions, sadness, depression. That means that your emotional body needs food, exercise, and rest. Mental body, depression, anxiety, food, exercise, rest. And I'm going to give you tools. Spiritual body, the sense of being lost or disconnected. And so these are when they're out of whack, out of tune. Next, we've got, hey, hey, wait a second. Give me a second. One of my bodies pushed this button and it went sideways. So let me go ahead and figure out how to go back. Previous, previous, and here we go. This is what it looks like when they are in good standing. Your physical body feels calm and relaxed. This is what you want to achieve. Emotionally, you feel content and happy. Mentally, you feel curious. And spiritually, you feel an inner peace. I want to remind you that if it be true that 80% of what you're experiencing does not originate from self, I want you to understand that maybe you are okay, but you were in an environment that played your instrument and you just need to release residual energy. Maybe you were okay the whole time. Maybe. I know I'm kind of a goofball. So now, yep, assemble your instrument and you do not have to let everybody play it. And we'll get into that. This, I just want to put this up here. We feel like this sometimes. I'm just a baby, right? I'm just a baby. But this is how we actually are perceived in the world. So sometimes when you are like feeling so small, you don't realize that you actually are being perceived as really big. And I think that that's good for you to understand because then you're like, oh, I might feel this, but I'm actually this. Here we go, flow chart to self-awareness. Yes, we'll still have time for the tools. I might go a little over 90 minutes though. Here it is, people. You are here, and we're going to walk through this. You're perceiving energy, period. You are perceiving energy. And let me just, here we go. If it be true that 80% does not originate from you, you need to first, and 20% does, that's your first question. Does this originate from me? And we're going to walk through that step by step. Is it me? Where's this energy coming from? I'm really going to pound this in, then we're going to go to the other boxes. Energy cannot be created nor destroyed. It can transfer or change. This is the first law of thermodynamics. So it is energy and you're feeling it, period. It's that simple. You're picking up energy. So just slow everything down and go, I'm experiencing energy. 80% originates from others or their surroundings. Only 20% originates from self. You need to know yourself. You need to know yourself. So in order to answer the question, does this originate from me? You need to understand what your energy feels like without anybody else there. I'm going to flip it up because I think this would be a really good place to do this. Hula number one. I'm going to invite you to put your fingertips together because we give and receive through our hands. And this way you get to give and receive to yourself. Then I'm going to ask you to breathe, and I'm going to invite you to do a threefold breath, which is inhale for a moment, hold that breath for a moment, and exhale through your mouth. Then inhale through your nose, hold it, exhale through your mouth. One more time, find your own rhythm, your own timing, and exhale. Now I'm going to invite you to visualize that you are in a sphere, a cocoon, a bubble. It can be made up of whatever material you want, but there you are. And right above you is this beautiful shower head. And so it turns on, and this light energy starts pouring out. And it pours out over you physically, touching your nervous system and calming it down, releasing residual energy. It pours out over your emotional body, releasing residual energy, restoring self to self, healing it along the way. Then it rinses through your mental body, releasing other people's thoughts, residual energy, slowing down the mind into deep, wonderful, peaceful thinking, releasing the other energy going down the drain. And once again, over the spiritual body, releasing other people's residual energy, restoring your spirit to itself, rinsing everything else down the drain. Then that shower of light turns off, and right before you, you have a beautiful little table. And on this table is a little knob that says other people. I want you to turn that down. Then next to that knob, you have this one that says me, myself. You turn that up. How do you memorize how you are feeling right now? Because that is your energy. This is you. And then when you're ready, of course, if you're watching the recording, you can pause and remember, memorize what this feels like. And then when you're done, I'm going to invite you back to this presentation. I love it. I want to invite you to do that throughout your time, your existence. I want to invite you to do that when you are not around anybody, maybe in a field. I want you to continue to memorize because then you'll know if it's you or not. And I can't wait until the Q&A. And if you are watching this on YouTube, comment, want to hear it. We want to hear it. Like, subscribe, comment. That's your energy. And when you memorize it, the more you get to know yourself. And then, in order to answer this question, is it me or is it the other? One, you can compare and contrast to where you're at. Secondly, your body is a human pendulum. Your body knows yes and it knows no. What does that feel like? I go into all this scientific explanation about all your neurons within your body in the slide, but this is what it looks like. Say something that is obviously true. I will say, my name is Granddaughter Crow. I am sitting here on this presentation. I am wearing a hat. I have pigtails. My body keeps going, yes, yes, yes. Now, feel what your body does. Does your body lean forward into the yes? Does it go sideways? What does your body do? Now, say something that is obviously false. I am standing outside. I um for me false things. I am standing outside. I am touching the moon. I am not wearing a hat. My body constricts. Think about what your body is doing so that the next time that you're just in a situation, you've already memorized your energy, you've got to go from this client to this client, and you're like, is this mine? And just stand there. This is my energy. No. Oh, well, then let's see what we can do with it if it's not your energy. Quick tip. This is basically the human pendulum. Your body leaves, reveals the truth. You're receiving a bunch of information, yada, yada, yada. Maybe we'll do a part two and I'll get into it. But I want to get these tools to you guys. So if you memorize your energy and this energy does not originate from yourself, we get to end with love. END, with love. And we're going to talk about that. But if it is your energy, take care of it. Take care of yourself. Funny thing is whether it's yours or it's not yours, the same thing is true. And we'll talk about what you do. All is energy. Energy seeks its freedom. Freedom comes from movement, movement via anything that oscillates. Granddaughter Crow, slow down. Oh, okay, I'll slow down. Originates from me. Okay, the answer is this energy did not originate from me. End with love. I get to choose what I'm going to do. What? You have permission to let everything else go, like other people's energy. You don't have to. If this is the first time you're hearing this, I don't know. You don't have to engage. Just because you feel it doesn't mean you have to engage with it. And I'll kind of stress that for those of you who are like, but I've been doing that for 60 years. How come you're telling me this? So basically, if you're walking through the store and you hear two people over here talking, just because you hear them talking doesn't mean you go, huh? What are you guys talking about? You get to not engage. It's as easy as that. So you get to choose. If it's not yours, choose. I'm going to engage. I'm going to be neutral. I'm going to disengage. If you do it with love, you know, whatever that love looks like, maybe it's the hard kind of love, whatever that love looks like. If you do it from a good position, which basically means I want you to pause this if you're watching it, the replay. What does it look like? We all know what it looks like when you engage. You're a healer. Everybody loves it when you engage. What does it look like for you to be neutral, the observer? I mean, it looks different in everybody's life. What does it look like for you? Or do you need to practice that? What does it look like when you disengage? Do you even know what that looks like? The ability to say no, thank you. What are your words? Sometimes it's easy to disengage by just going, I need to use the restroom, thank you, and you disappear. That's my Houdini trick. Okay, bye-bye. You don't have to make a big deal, or strengthen what is this? Practice each one and then choose. You don't have to apologize for disengaging. You have the right to disengage. So once again, we'll go back to the chart. Perceiving energy, it's not mine. What do I want to do? Engage, be neutral, disengage. If you do choose to engage, which in your career chosen field, most of the time you do, but you don't have to engage with everybody. You become the energy detective. You start asking yourself questions. What does it feel like? Where is this coming from? Is it dense? Is it low? Da 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 da. So basically, ask the questions. Ask the questions. And I think that ask clear questions like, did this come from this person? Did this come from that person? Learn to ask questions and hone your question because, and release assumptions and everything. But basically, what does it feel like? And in a weird way, I'm kind of teaching you how to be a psychic detective, but it's an energy detective. Of course, I'm really kind of talking about like an 8-hour course that I've compressed into 90 minutes for you. So feel free to ask questions, like and subscribe, put your questions below. Build an energy dictionary. Basically, I think you guys already have one. This is what I call those little subtle things that when it happens, you understand what it means to you. That's your energy dictionary. Mine's going to look different, but utilize that. So basically, I'm going to engage, then do your questioning. Become the detective. This is what I know and this is what I don't know. But at the end of the day, Here is what we do. All is energy. Everything, emotional, mental, spiritual, life, death, rebirth, past, present, future, everything is energy. It's that simple. We complicate it, but it's just energy. Energy wants freedom. You probably see that a lot with somebody whose energy wants to leave their physical body. They want freedom. They want freedom. Freedom comes through movement because blocked energy looks like it's just blocked. Tension, they can't let go. They have to say one more thing. So, movement through anything that oscillates, movement through anything that oscillates. Your voice oscillates, a rattle oscillates, dancing oscillates, moving, a feather oscillates, a fan oscillates. So, when you feel that stagnant energy within or without, realize, oh, this energy is starting to feel stagnant. I think it needs freedom. How do I get this freedom? Anything that oscillates. So I'm going to give you guys another tool. So this is us oscillating, okay? So I'm going to ask you to visualize a ball in front of you. And in this ball, you can make it any color, any weight. But the purpose of this ball, think about a situation that is stagnant. Your financial situation, your energy, your health, a relationship thing, doesn't matter. Make it light, make it deep, whatever you want to do. It's just energy, guys. And so put all of that into this ball. All of the emotions, all of the thoughts, all the pictures in your mind, all the weight, all of it, just stick it in that ball. This thing that is stagnant, the situation that is stagnant. And then when you're ready, you clap through the ball, dispersing the ball, moving the ball. And you can do that physically. I got chills. And know this from a shamanistic point of view, you literally affected the psyche to move to its freedom, not manipulated it to go one way that you want. You allowed it to move to its freedom. That's fun. I like these things. We should meet all the time, you guys. I hope you're enjoying this. So let's go ahead. And here we go. Tools, tools, and more tools. Granddaughter Crow. So we've done a couple. I think the first tool that I want to give you guys as we're getting to the end, towards the end of the presentation, is let a loved one, a friend, a significant other, one that you trust, know that maybe you are a highly sensitive person. Maybe they already know that, but tell them, hey, it's not a disorder. It's not a condition. I'm actually a superstar that's here to save the human race. You could phrase it however you want, right? You could always just tell them, hey, watch Granddaughter Crow's YouTube thing, and she explains it. When I got together with my husband, I asked him to do sandwich speak. Sandwich speak is basically say something good that you liked or appreciated. Give me the news, then say something else you liked or appreciated. Don't just be like, you look fat today. I'm gonna run, cry, whatever. You are so beautiful. I love your hair. Are you feeling okay? You just look like you're retaining water or something. Can I help you? So I kind of asked him, telling him what the world was like to me. One of the tools that you can do is explain to the people who love you that are not highly sensitive what it's like to watch your nervous system and then let them know what the biologist found, just like I said up front. Okay, here we go. Another tool. I'm glad we're recording this because You might want more time to focus on 1, 2, 10 of these tools. Write down your five senses, literally, the touch, taste, smelling, hearing, seeing. And then next to that, write down something that comforts it. Maybe you like a weighted blanket. Maybe you like soft lighting. Maybe you like a certain type of music. And create an environment where all of your five senses will get that relief. We did the fingertips together. You can always just, if you're feeling overwhelmed, you can always just put your fingertips together, put them underneath the desk, and come back to self, even in a meeting. The breath work that we did, the inhale, hold, exhale, doing that just 3 or 4 times takes you from a rattled beta state of consciousness and puts you in alpha state of consciousness, which seems slower, more meditative, but it's actually more concentration. We did the sphere, so you can do that. You can replay that anytime you want. You can create your own. Keep memorizing how you feel without everybody else's energy. First time I did that, I felt like a 4-year-old girl that I just wanted to go play. And I was like, wait a second, is that my energy? And I just had to giggle and laugh. Maybe you experience it differently than I did, but keep doing it until you memorize, your core energy. Oh yeah, you can also empath beauty. What? Yeah. You can, just as you look at the cold, cruel world and all of the concrete and steel, and it gives you these feelings, look at this picture that I have on the screen and connect with it. It'll cool you down. It might refresh you. It smells good. I have it on the next slide too, so you can continue to do this. The meditation, that's the same thing we did. I also offer other meditations if you want. You can always hop over to Granddaughter Crow YouTube, where I have my podcast, but I have a couple of like 5-minute meditations on resetting yourself. One with this picture of just, you're in there, open your heart. I'm like literally cooling down when I'm looking at this picture. I feel like I can breathe. I don't know. Can't wait to hear what you guys think. Power shower. Ooh, this is a fun one. When you get into the shower after a long day or whatever, don't just wash your physical body. Think this is cleansing my emotional body. This is cleansing my mental body. This is cleansing my spiritual body, washing the residual energy down the drain, just like in that meditation. But now you're actually doing it physically. And literally, when I have a really heavy day, I jump in and 5 minutes later, I'm like, do, 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 do. I can do this, people. That wasn't mine. What? And sometimes it is. And sometimes you just need to go ahead and not do the shower and you need to do a bath bomb and you need a glass of wine and you need the candles and you need the violin, cello, whatever. That's fine. Take care of you. Water sprinkles. I love this. Water sprinkles, wind, release, and looking up. So I do a lot of one-on-one sessions with people, and sometimes I do them back to back to back to back to back. And so I think, like you guys may understand, somebody's crying because they broke a nail, and then you walk into another energetic field and they're crying because they lost the love of their life. And then you walk into another session and somebody's crying because they didn't get their latte. So you're like, whoa, 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 So how you don't have time for a power shower. I walk into the bathroom, turn on the cold water, psh, done. It's almost like I feel like the static electricity calm down. It's a real quick, easy tool. And you know what? I'm going to be watching the comments. So even if you're here in the live and you watch it later, please comment and let me know. Like, I've been trying out the sprinkle thing and blah, blah, blah. Here's my story experience around it because I love this stuff. Wind release. Oh, I love this one. And looking up. Next time you're outside on a windy day, feel that wind. And again, you can guess it, let it flow through your physical body. It's calming your nerves, your emotional body, your spiritual body, your mental body. Let the wind help you to release that energy. You know, I often wonder why a dog will stick their head out of the car. And then I tried it, and this is what I found. No, I'm just kidding. I have to keep you guys awake, right? And then look up. There's literally, I don't know if you guys watch Grey's Anatomy, but there's literally that, you know, Wonder Woman stance where you put your hands on your hips, you put your shoulders back, and you look up. There's some scientific research around that this will automatically empower you and you perform better. So, and plus it's fun to do that. You know, I mean, get some bracelets, of course, and go like this. Just a lasso, you know, be a superstar. All right, let's see what other tools does Granddaughter Crow have in her little crow bag. We did the energy ball. That's where you picture that ball and then clap through it. Ooh, and we know the rattle where I was like, just rattle through it, rattle around, rattle. Grip and release. This one's fun. What is something that you want to let go of, but you can't? Like somebody else's emotion, you know? Something that's not yours, but it's not working. The power shower didn't work. And ah, physically, and I'm going to invite you to do this as we speak. Go ahead and hold on to it as tightly as you can. That which you cannot let go of, grab it and hold on to it so tight that maybe your little muscles or your big muscles, mine are a little, start shaking and you're just going to hold on to it and hold on to it and hold on to it and hold on to it. And then when you're ready, open your hands, let it go. It works for me. Maybe it'll work for you. Dance, always. Even if it's just in your chair, just turn on the music and move the energy any way that you want to move the energy, you know? Dance it out, dance it out. You can do that. That's another tool to help you move the energy to feel better. Oh, hair up, hat on. What? Hair up, hat on. These, yes, I have long, long hair. These are our antennas. So when your hair is down, you're picking up energy by walking down the street. That's why I put my hair down when I am in a session or teaching a class, because I have to be sensitive to you. But afterward, hair up, hat on. It helps. So when you want to be sensitive, go ahead and let your hair down and not wear the hat. But if you are like, okay, and I'll give you just a little bit of background for it. The Native Americans, there was an old story that they were good trackers. And so the government took them, these Native Americans, shaved their head, of course, because that's what the government does. They couldn't track as well. I'm not saying that this makes you psychic, I'm just saying that you'll pick it up in here. And or go ahead and get your hair cut, Short, tight, Hat on so that you're not woo woo. It helps me. I wear a hat, a signature. It's very rare to find Granddaughter Crow without a hat on when I'm working. Blue tinted sunglasses. What? Absolutely. If you get yourself a pair of blue tinted sunglasses, you're not going to feel the trauma of driving down the street as much. Okay, maybe that's just me. I get traumatized being on the highway. And then my husband got me a pair of Ray-Ban blue tinted sunglasses. And now I'm like, yay. Weighted blankets. I have a weighted blanket. It's just kind of like, those blankets that you give your dog with, when they're afraid of the lightning or whatever. I have one of these. Yeah, I have one of these and I sleep with one of these. If you don't have a weighted blanket and you don't have access to one, but you have a good significant other, have them lay on you. The weight will ground you. Impression, there's science around it. Trust me. I mean, you can lay back to back, front to front, doesn't even matter. The point is that they're just like weighing you down, brings you back into your body. Plus, it's just fun to try. If you want headphones when you're in public, wear headphones. I don't care if you're listening to music or not. Put your headphones on. That helps you to stay neutral when you are in the grocery store. Wear a hoodie. Put that hat on. Cover yourself up. Put your hands in your pocket. You are an instrument, which means that you get to stay in your case. Not everybody gets to play you. You get to choose. That is a lot of tools. We're almost to the end. So, you guys, what did we do? And I'm going to be right on time. That's incredible. So, we went over what is a sensitive and/or an empath. We talked about that you're an instrument. You get to play beautiful music in this world, but take care of you. Not everybody gets to play you. I don't let just anybody, I choose who I allow to work with my empathy. The flow chart for self-care, basically all is energy. Does it originate from you? Is it somebody else's? If it's somebody else's, end with love. If you choose to engage, become a detective, or just, you don't even have to waste your time. Maybe you just know. And nevertheless, all of it combined. Four things. All is energy. Energy seeks its freedom. Freedom comes through movement. Movement comes through anything that oscillates, to include crying and laughing. I'll show you something crazy. If I am in a deep cry, my body will go. If I am laughing my body will go. It's the same freaking movement. So if you're tired of those puffy eyes, I sound like I'm an infomercial. If you're tired of those puffy eyes, why not put on some Mitch Hedberg or whatever your comedic craze is and laugh the energy out. Oscillation. Oscillation. And gave you tools, and more tools. Believe it or not, I probably put in, I don't know, 20 tools that you can find your own combos and everything and recharge yourself because you're so important to one of the most sacred aspects of life, which is the passing. It is beautiful. And oh, you guys, I was talking to the board, and you can participate in this or not, but I am going to pull 3 cards for each group. You don't have to participate. You can be like, oh my God, I was checked in and now I'm checking out. That's fine. Okay, so here's my magical box. We are in sacred space. Pick a group. Do you want to be in group 1? Do you want to be in group 2? Do you want to be in group 3? What group do you want to be in? And yes, if you watch the replay, you can choose a different group. That's fine. Going to give each group a little message. from my beautiful Spirit of the Wheel cards, which are all about the natural world, as well as my medicine oracle cards with the animals on it. Very wisdom, natural world based. Okay, group one. Here is the message for you. Oh, it says the Earth renewal moon. It's got a beautiful wolf, which is also a teacher and finds their own way in the world. It says greater responsibility, inner knowing and teaching. And then the card. Oh, you guys get the porcupine, which reminds us to play. If you're going to have a bunch of responsibility, I mean, play. Okay, so take it from me, Granddaughter Crow. This was a big responsibility for me. I took it very seriously to put this class together and to teach you. And I'm an empath. So I'm like trying to block out the little questions that I'm hearing everybody's asking and, trying to get, but what did I do? I was silly. Yo, it's like keep it fun, great responsibility, great innocence and playfulness. So if you're going to take on more responsibility, it's okay to also play. Oh, that rhymes. Okay, group two, you're up. Group two. Ooh. Okay, group two, you guys get the spirit card of the East. You have an eagle there flying, and it talks about new beginnings, thought process, and inspiration. You guys hold a very crucial medicine. I call it medicine. It is the medicine of the bat. This is truly life, death, rebirth, medicine person. Maybe you don't consider yourself to be a medicine person. I say you earn the medicine that you carry. You earn the wisdom that you have, and you earn this not because life has been oh so fun, but because life has pushed all of your buttons physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. Take the treasures and own the title of the healer, because not everybody can comprehend what you do and know. Okay, group three. What's your message? This is so cute. It's a strong sun's moon. It's a master number 22. Social invitation, creative pursuit, and joy. It's got these little guys and they're putting themselves out there on a limb, chasing that butterfly, their transformation. So the message is, have fun and kind of go out there. Let me see what animal wants to play with you guys. Oh, you guys get the horse. Freedom, empowerment. So right now, even if you're watching this in the future, now's the time to kind of think about, okay, now that I've got the tools to actually be able to be out there in this world, I'm going to go ahead and join the Zoom call. I'm going to go ahead and have lunch with my friends, whatever it is, that social invitation, creative pursuit, joy, master number 22, the horse, get on the back of the horse and ride, because you can carry more when you're on a horse and you get there faster. So you work with that horse. Nevertheless, I am about ready to wrap up. I can't believe how on time I actually did this. So once again, the natural healer, when you heal yourself, you carry that healing energy around with you, and people pick up on it. So this is the tools for the sensitive healer for the Colorado End of Life Collaborative. This is Granddaughter Crow. I just wanted to say thank you so much for taking the time. If you made it this far, mwah, I love you. We will see you on the flippity flip.